Hey guys, Apocalypso here, back with the next episode of Extreme AI Matchups. And this is the Cumans versus the Khmer once again on Nomad. It's funny, they basically didn't make an appearance at all during the entire series, and now right at the end they want their 15 minutes of fame. Well, I can't I can't exactly blame them. Nomad is a pretty cool map, so yeah. Anyway, so uh, as I said, is the Cumans, uh, Ildia Khan, and versus um Pan Pania Yacht as the Khmer, and the Khmer are this is their town center. The Khmer are currently my favorite civilization in the game, so this should be very interesting. I'll have a lot to say about them. But first, I'm going to talk about the Cumans. The Cumans are a very unconventional civilization, just like the Khmer, but in a different way. And I'll get into that. So the Khmer, excuse me, not the Khmer, I'll get to them. The Cumans are a cavalry civilization. Their first bonus is that additional town center can be built in the feudal age. That is very good bonus because normally you can't build additional town centers until the castle age. Now, in the feudal age, you can only build one additional town center in the feudal age. I already said that. I don't know, but in the castle age, you can build as many town centers as you can afford. But in the feudal age, you can only build one, so it does kind of limit the bonus. But if you could build as many town centers as you wanted in the feudal age, that would be quite insane. And one additional town center is already pretty insane because basically what you can do is you can just have, you know, an extra town center producing villagers. You can have them on resources like gold or stone or some other resource. You can just sort of augment your villager production with an extra town center. And when you do click up to the castle age, you can get more villagers pumping out while you're advancing the castle age. So you strengthen your economy that way. Now, as far as I know, this is their only economy bonus. So you have to take good advantage of it. If you don't build a town center at all in the feudal age, if you don't build an extra one in the feudal age, if you wait until castle age like everybody else, you're not really getting much of a bonus. So you have to capitalize on it. Otherwise, you don't really have an economy bonus. So it's pretty tricky in that way. And they're, like I said, the Cumans are a lot like the Khmer in that they're both pretty unconventional. And I like that. I like unconventional civs. They make me think. They make me expand my brain. But I understand why people might not like that. You know, people like their Britons, they like their Franks, they like those simple archer or knight rushes. Uh, but unconventional civilizations challenge that notion. They really add a lot to the game by adding diversity and variety. But that is a topic for another day, so I'm going to just keep talking about their bonuses. So the next one is that the Siege Workshop and Battering Ram are available in the Feudal Age, and the Cap Ram upgrade is available in the Castle Age. So, interestingly, this basically spreads out all of the RAM upgrades, so it's one per age. See, normally, it actually shows it here, which is very interesting uh, for the Cumans, but normally, let's go to the Khmer for a second here, wherever they are. Uh, excuse me. There they are. So normally it will see the battering ram and the siege workshop, all that in the castle age, and then you get the cap ram in the imperial age as well as the siege ram in the imperial age. But for the Cumans, you get the siege workshop, then you get the battering ram in the feudal age, then you get the cap ram in the castle age, and then you get the siege ram in the imperial age, and that you know aside from being a pretty uh, pleasing on an orderly level. It also means that you get an extra power spike in the Castle Age that no other civilization gets because they only get regular battering rams in the Castle Age. You get cap rams. That's pretty significant, I should say. And so, but the whole point of the bonus, the whole reason you can make battering rams in the feudal age is you can rush with them. Now, they should always be protected because battering rams are very weak to any melee units, but most civilizations cannot put actual lethal pressure on opponents in the feudal age because they don't have access to any siege equipment and units are just too vulnerable to the town center's arrow fire. Battering rams change that. The Cumans are a very strong feudal rushing civilization, especially since their first two bonuses revolve around the feudal age, getting something one age early that most civilizations have to wait an age to get, and that's pretty strong. Those two, those first two bonuses really synergize well together. So the next one is that archery ranges and stables cost my 75 wood. Now, I don't know if it shows up. Yep, it shows up. Okay, so they're only 100 wood, and stables only 100 wood. I believe it was 75. No. It may have been 100 wood before. Now it's only 75 wood, which is a lot less insane, but still 75 wood savings for every archer range and stable that you build. That's pretty incredible. Um, and 100 wood is the same cost as, I believe, a mill. Uh, dock is 150. Uh, a mill, mining camp is 100, lumber camp is 100, mill is 100. So your military buildings cost the same amount of wood as your resource drop off points. And that just that makes it's just easy to remember. And it's just super convenient that you don't have to spend as much to get as many military buildings out. You can even get more military buildings out than your opponent because you're not spending as much. And that is good. Um, Particularly since I think the Cumans are primarily focused on quantity over quality. I don't really have a whole lot to back this up. Uh, in terms of blacksmith upgrades, uh, they have all of them except Bracer, but for some reason I just keep thinking that the Cumans are more of a swarm civilization. Maybe they're not, but certainly their cheaper buildings, their cheaper archery ranges and stables help them get out units sooner because they don't have to spend as much, and they can also make more of them because they can make more of those buildings. Now they're a very strong rushing civilization for that reason, and there's not much I can say about the bonus, but not much else I can say, but that's about it. So it's a pretty good bonus actually. Now cavalry are 5% faster. They're 5% faster each age, starting in the feudal age. So your scout not any better in the dark age, which is good. Because scouting bonuses are pretty broken. Mongol scouting, well, Mongols and their allies, their scout cavalry are just utterly insane in terms of how much line of sight they have, and they're generally considered the best scouts in the game. So it's a good thing that their scouts don't have any extra speed in the Dark Age. It would just be too broken. But it is a lot easier to rush in Feudal Age and beyond because they have that extra speed. But they don't have husbandry. Um, they used to have husbandry. Uh, Actually, yeah, they used to have husbandry, um, and this bonus, and they stacked obviously. Now, for in this case, uh, Cuman Cuman cavalry is only 5% faster than other cavalry. So it's not super insane, but it's still pretty noteworthy because they get 5% faster, then 10% faster, which is the same as husbandry in the same age, and then 15% faster in the Imperial Age. So it's only 5% faster than other civilizations, but it's still a good bonus because they move around the map faster, it's easier for them to escape. Other cavalry can't keep up with them. So it's a good bonus. It's definitely fitting for a rushing and raiding civilization like the Cumans, especially since two of the three, arguably the three bonuses that we've seen so far, are all really good rushing bonuses. So the Cumans have a clear identity as a rushing civilization, and I think that's really cool. All these bonuses are just really they they're really synchronized. They really fit together very well, and I think that's so cool. But their team bonus, it's a little more of a head scratcher, but I guess it's helpful. Uh, Palisade walls have plus 33% HP. Now they, I don't believe they get stone walls. They they don't they don't get stone walls. No, they don't get stone walls. So their palisade walls with extra HP are all they get. Um, which is a bit unfortunate, but the Cumans were traditionally a nomadic people, so historically they were a nomadic people, so it makes sense they don't get walls. And also, if they were too defensive, they'd be like the Goths. They're like the Goths in many ways. They're similar in rushing capability. So the Goths don't have stone walls, so the Cumans don't stone walls. Uh, but that being said, the Palisade walls do have a bit more HP, so it is a bit harder to break through, but not completely. So it's not a replacement for the stone wall in any means by any means. So just keep that in mind. You have to be aggressive with them. You have to. There's no question about it. So moving on to their unique unit, which is the Kipchak, which is also the name of a people group, which is pretty confusing. It's named after an entire people group. Whatever. Cuman unique cavalry archer with rapid fire attack. Strong versus infantry, weak versus skirmishers. What do they mean by rapid fire attack? Well, it's kind of like the Chukanu, but not really. The Chukanu fires one arrow after another. The Kipchak just fires them all at once. So that's basically the difference. And it has a similar role to the Chukanu in that those extra arrows have 0 melee damage. So they're actually pretty good against siege, like battering rams specifically. Other siege, probably not, but they're specifically good against battering rams. Battering rams, sorry. And that makes them a pretty good unit. Um, Normally, archer units are not good. If your archer unique units are not a good pick if your castle is being attacked by rams, but Kipchaks might be a bit more effective against them, and that's pretty cool. And they're also quite fast too, and they have a pretty fast attack. But they are really weak. They only have 40 HP unupgraded, and so that's about 60 or 65 HP with bloodlines, depending on whether or not you have the elite upgrade. So not all that strong, but you have to do a lot of raiding with them if you want to be effective. Again, that fits their theme. So then, the first unique tech is called Steppe Husbandry, which really fits the theme of the Cumans being a rushing and raiding civilization. That is, light cavalry, steppe lancers, and cavalry archers are trained 100% faster. Holy cow. That's good. That is good. And You know why that's good? Because they also get cheaper archery ranges and stables. So you get more of those buildings out, and once you're in the castle age and have a castle and research this technology, your armies are also trained a lot faster. Let's see how their cavalry archers are, because their cavalry archers are good. Their cavalry archers are really good. After all, the Kipchaks were known for cavalry archers, and the Kipchaks are considered part of the Cumans. So they do have heavy cavalry archer. Um, they have thumb ring and they have Parthian tactics. They have ring archer armor, but they don't have bracers, so they're lacking a bit of range and attack. Uh, but they are trained faster, so that is an important thing to keep in mind. They are trained about 1.5 times faster than they are normally. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Anyway, the next one is Cuman Mercenaries. This one's more of a team-oriented one, so it doesn't really fit the theme of raiding and rushing, but that's alright. Team members can create 5 free elite Kipchaks per castle. Now, it used to be 10 elite Kipchaks overall from any castle, but they recently changed it so that it has a lasting effect rather than just a one-time effect. And I think that's a good change, because if you can afford to get castles out, you can just sort of get a lot of elite Kipchaks. And they also made a change so that you don't have to be in the Imperial Age to receive the benefit of that technology, which is good. I like that a lot. It always felt a bit arbitrary that you need to be in the Imperial Age to get the effect. So I just think it's good, and of course the Elite Kipchak itself is a pretty good unique unit, and Elite Kipchaks from your civilization, from that you get from Cuman mercenaries, are affected by your bonuses and techs. That is important. The Mongol Elite Kipchaks fire faster. Turk Elite Kipchaks get the extra 20 HP from Sapahi, and uh, well, that's all the ones I can think of right now. But the point is, you get some pretty crazy combos that way. So just make sure, if you play the Cumans, research this technology, or if you're allied with the Cumans, make sure your ally researches it. So because it's a pretty good tech. So, but I I think they do stack actually. I think the technologies do stack among Cuman allies, which is that's pretty insane. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Moving on to the Khmer now, and so their first bonus is well, first they are a siege and elephant civilization. Makes sense. I mean, that was what they were good at historically. So the first bonus is there are no buildings required to advance to the next age or to unlock other buildings. Now, I like this bonus a lot because if you can utilize it correctly, that means you can basically uh, click up to the castle age as soon as you get into the feudal age, as long as you have the resources, because you don't need to build any buildings at all to get to that age. And that allows for some incredible rushing potential. But that's only if you have enough resources, because it still costs quite a bit to get to the castle age. So you need to make sure you have the resources to click up immediately before you do that. Otherwise, you may end up having to spend some time in the feudal age. But it's still a good bonus if you can utilize it properly. So I keep saying that the Cumans and the Khmer are similarly unconventional civilizations. And while they're unconventional in different ways, They're both uh, pretty good at rushing if you utilize their bonuses correctly. And that's pretty tricky to do if you're a new player. So that's why they're more advanced civilizations, I would say. If you're new, stick with the Britons, I would say. The Britons are probably your best friend. They're the simplest civilization to use. But if you're more advanced and want a challenge, pick the Cumans or the Khmer. They'll both be incredibly rewarding if you can use them properly. And that bonus is one of the reasons. You can also skip the barracks. Uh, you get the stable or the archer range right away as soon as you get to the feudal age. You don't need a barracks at all. Now, of course, you could still build barracks if you want to. You can go for your normal build order if you want to. Might be wise to stick with your normal build order if you think you're going to be needing barracks units. But the point is, you don't need to build a barracks to get a stable or archer range. And that is an incredibly flexible bonus. And you also don't need a blacksmith to get siege workshops, which is also pretty good. Because I don't believe their siege units are not affected by any blacksmith upgrades at all, as far as I know. So that's pretty good, actually. It's a good bonus. But the next one is also pretty unconventional. Farmers don't require mills or town centers to drop off food. Now, what I like to do is just sort of send my villagers to build or to farm in the corner of the map. Uh, they just sort of do it anywhere. And then for extra protection, I can have a palisade wall around them, and then have a little, have a couple houses, one or two houses, depending on how many villagers there are, basically acting as a gate. And I'll explain why that works later. But you do get that constant trickle of food from the farms, and I think that's pretty neat. You get access to those resources a lot sooner than most civilizations do. So I think that is a cool application of the bonus. And since you can have your farmers anywhere on the map, you can just sort of have them in a secluded part of the map and just have free farming. Or not exactly free farming, but risk free farming, I should say. Because if you just have a secluded part of the map, the enemy's unlikely to find your farming economy, and you don't have to worry about all that. So that's a pretty convenient bonus. But it might take a while to pay off because your farmers have to actually get there. So maybe just have them close by, just in case, just for the time being. I don't know. Anyway, so the next bonus is that battle elephants move 10% faster. Now, battle elephants are already pretty slow to begin with, so this bonus just helps them a bit. And they do get husbandry, unlike the Cumans. Uh, so this is basically like getting the effect of husbandry twice, except for only battle elephants. So what this does, since battle elephants are already incredibly slow, the bonus helps them move around the map faster, which can help them engage sooner, and they can also flee from battle a lot more easily. And one of their biggest weaknesses is monks. And that's because they're slow and the monks have a lot of range to convert them. And since the Khmer don't have heresy like almost any other elephant civilization in the game, uh, their battle elephants just die after being converted. Or no, sorry, they don't die after being converted. And that means your battle elephants can be sent right back to you. And that's definitely not good. So the point is battle elephants being faster helps that occur less often, but it's still probably going to occur quite a bit. So you might want to have some hussars close at hand to pick off any monks. And the last bonus that I was going to talk about that earlier. Villagers can garrison in houses. Now, they can only garrison 5 units, so the same as their population space. But it's still pretty good in terms of protection. They don't fire any arrows because that would be broken. But what they can do, you can just sort of build a house. You can just sort of build houses close to your economy and just sort of have them as protection. Or you can just wall off your wood line entirely and use houses as gates specifically for your villagers. And then your villagers are completely safe to all units that aren't ranged. So that's a pretty cool application of the bonus. And I've never really done it myself, but it's definitely a cool way to use the bonus. You can basically have villager only gates using the houses. And that's just so cool. I think it's so cool that houses can actually be used like houses and people can actually be inside them for once. Anyway, so the team bonus is that scorpions have +1 range. Uh, I'm not going to go too much in depth about it because I don't know the math myself, but basically, scorpions can attack sooner, they'd be more likely to hit their targets, and they are just more effective in general because they have extra range. Um, Now, in terms of how much range scorpions have normally, um, is this for regular scorpions or yeah, it's for regular scorpions. Um, but anyway, so in terms of Khmer scorpions, they have 8 range as opposed to 7, and that's pretty good actually. That's um, quite a bit more than a crossbowman, and still more than an arbalister. And so that basically means it'll be easier to pick off infantry. Now cavalry will still be a threat because they're just too fast. Uh, but since scorpions are especially effective against infantry, it will be really good against the bonus is really good against infantry specifically. So that it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play at all in this game. So then moving on to the unique unit now, personally my favorite unique unit in the game because I used to do a lot of research about the Khmer back in the day and this is something they actually used in real life. So um, the unique unit is the ballista elephant. The Khmer unique elephant equipped with a scorpion can destroy trees. Strong versus infantry and archers. Weak versus cavalry and siege weapons. Now, uh, they're not as weak against cavalry as scorpions are. Excuse me. They're not as weak against cavalry as scorpions are because they don't have a minimum range, unlike scorpions. Um, and they're also a lot tankier than scorpions. Uh, so they're not as weak against cavalry as scorpions are, but they're still pretty weak against cavalry. Um, Now one of the important things here about the unit is that it can destroy trees. You can only target them one at a time, so it's still pretty slow. But they're the only unit in the feudal age, the only feudal age, castle age. They're the only unit in the castle age that can destroy trees, other than villagers, obviously. But that's that's pretty important because it basically means you can just sort of cut down forests and just get in the enemy base that way. Of course, it takes a while, but it's probably pretty worthwhile in the end. But ballista elephants are not used that much because they're not that much more effective than regular scorpions. They have less range and they're slower. They might be slower, I'm not sure, but they don't have as much attack. So they have less attack than scorpions. Um, they're slow, but they have more pierce armor, I believe, um, 3 pierce armor versus... Okay, well, Scorpions have a lot more pierce armor. They have 7 pierce armor, but they lack in firepower and strict armor defensive capabilities. They make up for in a lot more HP. So they're sort of like elephant archers in that way. They used to be the Indian unique unit, but now they're a regional unit for the Indian civilizations. Uh, so ballista elephants are kind of similar to elephant archers in that way, and war wagons from the previous episode. But they're not cavalry units, or they are cavalry units. They're not archer units, but they are cavalry units and they're siege units and uh, they're elephant units. So they're multiple armor classes, so they take a lot of bonus damage. So that's something to keep in mind. But I'm not sure there's really much more I can say about the ballista elephant because other than the fact that it's just pretty cool in general, there's not that much special about it. Um, it's not one of the more used unique units. We might not see it. So the Castle Age unique technology is Tusk Swords, where Battle Elephants receive +3 attack. Now that's obviously helpful because Battle Elephants are one of the Khmer best units. They have a lot more attack after this tech. So not much to say about, but they do get extra attack, and that just makes them more powerful. So they're a better base unit for your army. And then the Imperial Age unique technology, which I think is really cool, is called double crossbows. Must have The description's wrong. It's called double crossbow in here, but it's called double crossbows here. Whatever. Uh, Ballista elephants and scorpions fire 2 projectiles. Now, the second projectile is significantly weaker, but basically, it's not exactly double the damage, but it is like 1.5 times the damage, I would say. And you also get a wider area because the second projectile goes in a slightly different trajectory. So, not much to say about that. It is pretty cool though. So, I'm going to fast forward. So this is actually a reasonable length. It's just like the previous episode. See, look, they're building incredibly close to each other. Somehow they manage to find very similar places to build their bases in Nomad, and they end up incredibly close to each other. So I think it's part of the reason I want to do a series specifically focused on Nomad maps because they lead to some pretty strange results. Anyway, so now both town centers are done, so the treaty's over. So I think the Cumans have a real advantage in the feudal age because they get battering rams and the second town center then. So they could really make a huge push on this town center if they wanted to, provided they actually managed to find it. Which, they might not. I don't know. They probably will eventually. But, yeah, so this is a very interesting match. Very interesting game between these two civilizations. What the? Okay, so now they have to know that they're there somewhere, because their villagers keep coming over there. So all right, that's very interesting. Are they gonna start collecting? Okay, they're collecting from wood there. I don't know if they're gonna start doing anything with the forage bushes. Whoa, that villager's spazzing out. He's doing a little dance. Okay. All right, let's see. Whoa. Okay, these two wood lines are incredibly close to each other. They're gonna see that. See, they see that. They totally see that. Uh, that's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Oh, I still, I still have the boxing villagers on mod on. I didn't turn that off. I, I didn't say I would, but I think I said I'd specifically keep it on because it's funny. So, so, so now these villagers are gonna see. So how much do Khmer see specifically? Do they? Oh yeah, they definitely see. They see this town center here, so they could really put on some aggression. But the problem is they're not close to the feudal age at all. But the Cumans are over halfway. They're like 2/3 of the way to the feudal age. So they definitely can have some real aggression here, especially since they get that extra town center and the battering rams and the siege workshop in the feudal age. So they could really threaten this town center right here in the way that, well, they don't see the town center, but if they end up seeing the town center, um, they could really threaten it in a way that the Khmer cannot, simply because they don't have those options. Is it just me, or do the Central Asian houses look a lot bigger than other houses? It's probably just me. So, I don't know if they're going to end up ever seeing the town center, but it'll be interesting to see what they decide to end up doing. Now, if this is anything like the last game, there might not be a lot of aggression until the end. So this could end up being pretty boring. Hopefully we'll see something soon. Huh. Did they finally... Okay, they still haven't seen the town center yet. Uh, I don't... I don't know what's going on there. But... Let's see. Interesting. Ah. So you can see what... You can see what they don't see. So they still don't have that explored, which is kind of infuriating. Uh, they're building a barracks all the way out here, but surely they know by now that the enemy base is over here. And oh, hold up, no, they're putting an archer range down. So, or they're attempting to. Uh, what's going on? Oh, some villager fighting is going on. Oh, hello, boxing villagers. I can't stop thinking of the Spanish villager when I see that. I mean, boxing villager seems like so much of a Spanish villager thing to do. This is such a funny mod. It's like one of the funniest mods I've ever seen. Alright, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Um, they were going to try to build an archer range there, but they gave up on that. And for some reason, they're trying to build a palisade wall, but it was like 98% successful. It's a doubt palisade wall. just got to the feudal age. Okay, so oof. Okay, so they lost the villager. Barracks is still all the way over here. I'm not sure why they put it all the way over there. They should probably ideally have it like right here. They do now see the town center because yeah, right. Obviously, they will have that wall finished. But she's gonna get trapped and die. So that's unfortunate. But they are building a tower for defensive capabilities. But if they wanted to be aggressive, they would build a tower like right here. But they don't want to do that clearly. Because this is Nomad, where nobody's ever aggressive ever. Sarcasm. Okay, but that tower was going after... Oh! Yeah, the tower is within range of this house. So, that's interesting. So, does he have a blacksmith? He does have a blacksmith. I don't know if he has fletching. He doesn't have fletching. I don't know if he's gonna get fletching. He might get fletching. I don't know. There's another tower here which is going after this palisade wall, but that could take a while. Anyway, so neither of them are really doing anything particular right now, aside from the occasional aggression. It's just the last episode was exactly like this. apparently the AI just doesn't like being aggressive on Nomad, even though Nomad games are probably a lot of the craziest games. I enjoy watching Nomad games a lot just because of how crazy the maps are. They're certainly unconventional, but the AIs just don't like doing anything with Nomad for some reason. I don't know. It's so weird. I'm not sure what they're going to try to do here. Now, the AI doesn't seem to understand that they can put their farms anywhere. They're not taking advantage of that bonus at all. But whatever. You do you. Now, in terms of fishing economy, let's see. Oh, well, the Khmer are way ahead. Okay, so... But fishing economy, this is obviously not too much of a water map, per se. Has some water, but it's not, like, really designed to be a super water map. So, they're on their way to Castle Age. Holy cow. What about the Khmer? Are they on their way to Castle? Oh, wow, yeah. So they clearly took advantage of that bonus where they didn't need any buildings, because now they're almost on their way to the Castle Age. So, uh, they're going to be there way before the Cumans are. That palisade wall is still under attack. It's going to take a while. Now, they're not taking advantage of that house bonus at all. They're not building any houses here. The AI doesn't seem to like to do that for some reason. The AIs don't really take advantage of their bonuses all that much, unfortunately. They have an archery range over here for some reason. It's not 3 archery ranges on neutral island energy, but it's pretty similar. So now the Cumans are in the Castle Age. The Khmer are in the Castle Age. The Cumans are on their way to the Castle Age. Now, what the Cumans should have done, they should have gone for a siege workshop and battering rams as soon as they got to the feudal age, because they could have really ended the game pretty soon if they could have ended the game very shortly if they'd managed to do that, but they didn't do that for some reason. And they also didn't do a second town center either. Unless they started that town center in the feudal age. So I think they took advantage of it. There's no rewind button, unfortunately. They should totally add that, but whatever. Okay, so they're starting to collect fish. Are either of them planning on going for the relics? I don't know. I guess only time will tell. So neither of them are doing much of anything. This is exactly like the last game. And this episode's already kind of long. So I might just I'm just gonna flash forward here for a bit. They're adding a third town center on the stone and the gold. That's a good move. Oh, they're building 2 docks for some reason. What's going on here? Okay, nothing particular is going on here. Oh, I heard a monastery. There's the monastery. I like this monastery so much. It's so pretty. But yeah. So what's gonna happen? Okay, I'm gonna skip forward a bit more. What? Oh, hold up. This is a forward stable right on that town center. And this guy died. Trying to build an archery range there. So forward archery range, forward stable, that seems pretty fair. So what are the Khmer going to try to do? Are they going to try... Are they... They're producing out of that stable. That is crazy. Alright, so... What are the Cumans going to do with this archery range? Yeah. They managed to get it out, but they're not doing anything with it yet. Oh, but... Okay, so... Villager fight here. Okay, this is actually getting pretty interesting now. So, I'm gonna skip forward a bit. I don't want this video to be too long. Some of my videos are like an hour, and I feel like that's just too long. We got a battle elephant in the house. Now, it looks like I'm playing this on fast speed, but I'm not. That's just how fast it's moving normally, because Khmer elephants are speedy boys. Like, I'm not kidding. Oh, I heard a castle. Where's the castle? There it is. Not making any kipchaks, though. Oh, I don't know how it died, but I don't know what it died from, but... Oh, more elephants, more elephants. Oh, okay, we got some siege. Are we gonna see some scorpions from the Khmer here? Or let me see. We do have a siege workshop, so we might see scorpions, but it doesn't look like we're going for it right now. They just seem to be going for battle elephants mainly, which is a good choice for the Khmer. That is one of their specialties. So, there are some villagers in this tower, which is giving it some extra arrows. But they don't have ballistics research, so all those arrows are just whiffing. So, a bit unfortunate. But that battle elephant does go down, so uh, they are producing kipchaks now. So how many kipchaks do they have? I don't know. Let me see. There's no way to see. Oh, yeah. There's no way to see how many kipchaks they have, unfortunately. But they do seem to be making them and trying to go for raiding. But look how squishy these boys are. They're squishy boys. Oh, it looks like they got a conversion off. They managed to convert a battle elephant, but it is very weak. So yeah, the converted battle elephant just goes down. Yeah, these kipchaks are pretty squishy, so they really need to try and mass them if they want to do anything with them. But they're going for mangonels, which is an interesting choice. I would much rather they go for battering rams and try to take down this town center, but they're not doing that for some reason. Even though they have the ops access to cap rams. So pretty pretty strange game overall. Like they're making a lot of weird decisions here. I actually didn't really like the Cumans much at first, but I'm actually starting to really appreciate them. When I was going over their bonuses and discovered how uh, fluid they were. Can't think of the word, but how much they just kind of fit together. How coherent they were. Yeah, that's the word I'm thinking of. So these villagers successfully take down this mangonel. Um, but when I was thinking about how coherent the Cuman bonuses really are, I'm thinking, wow, this is a really well-designed civilization. This is how you should design a civilization. And I'm taking notes from my own civilization designs, because a lot of my civilization designs don't feel very coherent. And they're going to try to put down a stable here, but the monk is in the way currently, so it gets cancelled, unfortunately. Uh, Trying to put pressure on this town center, I think. But it will go down. The mangonel will go down. Adding another barracks. I'm not sure. I guess he might be going for. Yeah, I think he's going for pikemen. I think that's probably what he's doing. Uh, yeah, that villager will go down. That scout does go down though, so I'd say it's a pretty good sacrifice. Um. All right, let's see. That okay. That town that barracks does go up. That barracks does go up. Uh. Okay, so this elephant is currently still rampaging. It does go down though. So what's going on here? me see. Alright, yeah, so now I have a feeling this game isn't going to last much longer. The Khmer are losing ground pretty fast, actually. Unfortunately, the Khmer are still managing to produce elephants. So I think the Cumans really need to go into spearmen a lot more. They need to go into pikemen a lot more if they want to stand a chance against these elephants. Now, they have all these idle villagers in these towers. That's not really good use for them. Oh, the Khmer are going for scorpions. How much into scorpions are they going? It's hard to say. Do they have a castle? I don't know if they have a castle or not. I don't see one. I don't see a castle from the Khmer. But they are producing scorpions. And some skirmishers, but they're unupgraded skirmishers, so they're going to be pretty weak. So, and that scorpion does go down. I think what they need to do here, what the Khmer need to do, is they just kind of need to, they need to focus on battle elephant production like full time. They need to produce a bunch of battle elephants so they can take down this town center here. Maybe produce battle elephants from this stable, garrison them all, maybe take down this town center, then take down this town center, and then they'd be golden. Oh, lost a villager. They're going to lose a skirmisher, I think. Unless these Kipchaks are stupid, which of course they are, because it's the AI. But they're still going to lose a skirmisher, so... But they did lose more Kipchaks than they should have. They don't even have ballistics researched, which is pretty stupid. But, you know, whatever. But anyway. So what's going on here? What's happening? They appear to be trying to... Oh. Is this monk gonna get sniped? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any murder holes at all. So, a bit unfortunate. This is a pretty strange game for sure. Nobody's really doing anything remotely, you know, sensible. So, that's just kind of the AI. That's kind of how the AI works. The AI just doesn't Whoa! Oh, I never noticed this. Okay, so I never knew this was the Cuman, the Central Asian ship sail design, because I literally never used ships as any of the Central Asian civilizations. That's new. But they are successfully taking down this town center with ships. And, what's gonna happen here? I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh. Now, these villagers have been idle in this tower the whole time, and that is not a good use of villagers. Villagers should not be used as defense. They should be working. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening right now. I'm trying to commentate the best I can, but I just can't exactly tell what's going on. And it does appear that these Kipchaks are trying to take down some skirmishers. Alright, so... Oh, now they're actually starting to create rams, but these are just regular battering rams and not cap rams or siege rams, which is definitely not the best choice, but, you know, it's still better than nothing. And the Khmer are still not going for elephants, which actually is pretty fair considering how many pikemen that the Cumans have. It was actually pretty fair. These villagers are trying to go after these rams, but they will get sniped by the towers and the Kipchaks. So I think the battering rams are probably going to ultimately be successful in their mission to destroy buildings. And I think I see. Yeah, there's a. There it is. And the Khmer are still in the Castle Age, so they are at a severe technological disadvantage. And I don't know if they're even going to. Yeah, they're not anywhere close to being in the Imperial Age. No. So the Cumans are definitely winning here. They are currently sieging everything. Um, I think they're going to end up taking down. Maybe. Um, I don't know. I hear. Okay, now they have Cap Ram. Um, and I believe these. Now the Cap Ram is going to go down, but it did do quite a bit of damage. So I think there's a there's some more Rams on the way. So I think this town center is ultimately going to go down because these Kipchaks are there to as backup units. They can take down the villagers that are trying to destroy the Rams. So this is ultimately going to be unsuccessful for the Khmer. And of course that trebuchet was there to help, so the town center managed to be destroyed. And I believe that was the Khmer last. That was the last Khmer town center. So uh, there's really nothing they can do at this point. So now the villagers are just at the mercy of the Kipchaks. Um, so yes. So then the Khmer resign. The Khmer resign, which that's pretty fair because once the villagers got taken down by the Kipchaks, which they're going to because the Kipchaks are really fast and they have range, so it would have been easy to take them down. Once the villagers got taken down by the Khmer or by the Kipchaks, excuse me, the Khmer would have no options whatsoever because they didn't have any town centers left. So since their last town center was destroyed, there was just simply nothing else they could do at all. So they had to resign at that point because there wasn't any other option. They literally could not do anything. The Cumans were an age ahead. They trebuchets. The Khmer were not anywhere close to being in the Imperial Age at all. They had like no resources. They had no resources spent on anything. They had no wood. They had no gold. They had hardly any food. Um, they had no stone. So they really had nothing. So it was pretty clear once the snowball effect started happening who was going to win. And it was the Cumans by a long shot. They rocketed ahead. As much as I like the Khmer, I think this is actually a good result because I think the Khmer are pretty underwhelming for most players. Um, the Cumans are clearly superior in terms of win rate, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not the guy to ask about that, but I think the Cumans are clearly superior in terms of general Civ capabilities, and it's time to look at the stats. In terms of military, 58 versus 13. Holy cow! Uh, that's no surprise. The Cumans collected the most of all the resources. Um, well, yeah. So the feudal age got feudal age first. The Khmer got to the castle age first. That was probably thanks to their building bonus. But the Cumans got to the Imperial Age. The Khmer never got to the Imperial Age. So that's pretty important. The Cumans explored 99% of the map somehow. The Khmer explored 75% of the map, so that's not really important. But the Cumans had 4 castles. I have to see if I can try and find them because here's one. Oh, whoa, okay, they have two castles over here. Where's the fourth one? No wonder they were pumping out so many Kipchaks. They had four castles. And just to remind you, uh, the Khmer had no castles, so they had hardly any defensive capabilities at all. And they had hardly any relic gold because they only captured one relic, whereas the Cumans captured two, and the Cumans had clearly superior uh, villager numbers. Probably not because of the town center bonus at all, but they just had better numbers. So in terms of this timeline, uh, it was pretty fluctuated for a while, but uh, it very clearly got into the Kuman's favor here. So, well, I think that was a very interesting game, and I don't really have much else to say about that. It's already been quite a long game, or quite a long video. So I think it's it's the second video on my channel that actually got past an hour. So uh, yeah, that's that's about it. So I'm gonna call quits on this one. So I hope you found this as entertaining as I did, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I guess I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. But I hope you have a great day, and peace.